Hello guys and welcome to our channel Knock to Know. This is the continuation of the last story of Wendigo that I told you in the last video. Strangely, this didn't phase her optimism. Her will to live burned brighter than the still raging ring of fire below. That lit a new fire in me. I had to get us out of here. Alive. Who said you wouldn't be the first? Jillian said, reframing my newfound resolve. God, she reminded me so much of the woman I began my hunting career for. When I was 19, we went out camping together in the Alpacinas. Just the two of us. A skinwalker took her from me, and I vowed to avenge her. I know it's like some overdone movie cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. We as humans have the drive to get revenge for our commodores and loved ones. That skinwalker ended up being the second demon I killed after that werewolf. It was like a rite of passage. Killing that bastard, though I knew there was no going back after having done it. Here I was 7 years later, watching someone to go through what I did. Maybe in a way, my girl did come back to me. You know, maybe you're right. I agreed with her, much to her delight. Now I was determined more than ever to come back alive. I opened one of the pockets on my pack and put on my gloves. Then I opened a second pocket and carefully removed the monkswood plant. Using what was left of the water, I distilled it as the vahila can smell even the faintest of the scents. I tipped my crossbow bolts with my concoction and waited. There would only be time for one shot before the massive wolf knew what we were trying to do if it didn't already. I turned to Jillian and told her, handing her my 9mm, "Be quiet, no matter what you see or hear. If something happens to me, I need you to run. Just make it out of the forest. I can buy you enough time for that." She nodded in compliance. It warmed my heart knowing at least one of us would survive the night, although I didn't want to die myself. What felt like another 2 or so hours passed. The fire had long since burnt itself out and the sun was rising. Then we heard it. A wendigo was making its way towards our clearing. From its frantic sound movements, the vahila was dead on its trail. As soon as the wendigo broke the trail, it would be over. Sure enough, the vahila pounced on it, and just as predicted, this was my chance. I shot my crossbow direct hit. The bolt lodged itself between the massive wolf's shoulder blades as it eviscerated its prey. Its howl echoed throughout the forest, making it sound as if the forest itself was in pain. The potent potion would need a few minutes to work its way throughout the vahila's massive body. As it scrambled away, the wendigo was still alive, letting out its loud shrieks of anguish as it crawled to the base of a tree and began climbing. Before I could reload my crossbow, I heard the crack of a gunshot. Between the demon's eye was a smoking hole. It no longer moved, saved for a couple twitches. Jillian and I climbed down the tree and sprinted in the direction of the trailhead. The feeling of being watched as following us the entire way until we reached the last clearing before the beginning of the trail. The menacing presence that had been stalking us was standing in the center of the clearing. Stumbling towards us was the vahila, crossbow bolt still wedged in its block. Stumbling towards us was the vahila, crossbow bolt still wedged in its back. It was clearly succumbing to the poison, but even that wouldn't stop this hellhound from its invader to murder us. Jillian froze. I wrenched this pistol from her firm grip as the monster charged us, teeth braided, red eyes glaring, and mouth frothing. One shot was all it took. It was over. The vahila's body seized up, and it dropped to the ground with a resounding, satisfying thud. We made it to the truck I pulled up in the day prior. I radioed someone nearby and told them about what they had to retrieve from the forest. So this was an interesting story of an unknown writer. I think it's a true story. Tell me, what do you guys think about it? Like, share and subscribe the channel. I'll see you in the next video with something more interesting, just like this one.